Oh, it's disappointing because I don't think we could ask for a better start than we had. It's tough to lose it this way.
Definitely frustrating. Got ourselves a lead and just couldn't hold it. Nothing else to say.
8:25, Kirk McLean without the Calgary Flames jersey back here on the couch. But there you hear it. Words from Ryan Miller. We were hoping that we would be getting ready for Game 7 tonight. A lot of questions as we go into the offseason. Ryan Miller, what do you see? Is he still going to be the #1 guy next year?
Well, right now he is, for sure. I mean, he's got another couple years on his contract. He had a wonderful year this year, regular season. He got injured at the end. Eddie Lack comes in and does a great job. This game in particular, Ryan was great in the first period. And I'm not saying he was bad the rest of the game. There's probably a few rebounds that he was absorbing earlier in the game that somewhat led to a few goals.
And at the other end of the rink, a goaltending change.
Yeah.
Did that spark things, or was it already going down that path?
Well,
in your opinion,
it may have sparked it a little bit. Sometimes you just need that change, that little spark. But we ended up getting a goal on Ramos, I believe we did, but they scored that late goal in the first period. That was the difference, I think. That really gave them a little bit of energy, got the crowd back into it, and from then on, it felt like we were back on our heels a wee bit. Yes, we scored again to go up 4-3, but we couldn't hold it at the end there.
Still
I must say, a little bit of a bad call. The goaltender interference there, that was, to me, not interference.
Tough call with the officiating, but now we look really at this offseason and say, what is the outlook? I mean, you look at the Oilers potentially getting Connor McDavid with the lottery draft going their way. The Flames, this is a good young team.
Yeah.
What do you see as the outlook for the Canucks? Do they need to make some serious moves in the offseason? Because their competition's getting younger, and it's only a matter of time before the Flames and Oilers are right there and possibly overtaking them in the standings in the regular season.
They're not going to jump to conclusions right away. I mean, they got the summer now to assess what the situation is. Of course, there's contract issues, whether no trades or money. I mean, getting rid of some money, but I think they're fine. I mean, everybody thinks that the core of the team's getting a little long in the tooth. They may be a little bit older, but it's a different game now. Guys are in unbelievable shape and they can play longer than in the past. So, they'll sit back and they'll go through their team meetings now and get feedback from the players of what they're thinking and whether it's what they need or what have you. So. There's no need to panic. I mean, they'll make it happen.
Now, speaking to that, we talked a lot when Trevor was named president, and then he brought in Jim Benning, and then brought in Coach Willie Desjardins. Would anybody call, knowing what we know now, how this team has performed, when Trevor was appointed president, would anybody have been disappointed with this?
That's exactly right. And listen, I was one of those persons that wasn't expecting a lot out of them. If they got to the playoffs, that was an achievement, and they did. But having said that, 101 points, that's pretty darn good to get into the playoffs. That's a lot of pressure hockey to get to that number. So what happens is expectations change as it goes on, but having again. Calgary, give them credit. They only finished 4 points behind us, and that was a good hockey club. They're pretty well matched. They brought a little bit more, or a lot more energy to it. They were a lot more physical, that's for sure. Feisty is right. They were there. They were right there with the team, and at the end of the day, they were the better team.
If we were to look to the next era of the Vancouver Canucks, I think Bo Horvat is leading the charge with the youth movement. What is the state, the reality for the Vancouver Canucks with their young crop of players? Sure, you have the Cityans that have led this team year after year, but that youth movement that we could see for the next season. Yeah,
I think it's in good hands. I think there's some great young players coming up, and as you said, Bo has really matured through the year here. I thought he had a great playoff for his first one. He scored some big goals and made some big plays, and he's kind of like a man-child. He really is. I mean, he's a big dude to begin with for his age, and really took it upon himself. I think it's documented that he's come out and said he was worried about his skating and his speed, and that's something that he worked on through the year and has improved that. So that's the type of guy he is. That's a leader right there. So you're definitely going to look for good things from him. and again with the core, I don't have any problems with the Sedins or the BXs, and whether they make a change just to kind of shake it up. Probably not. They're not going to do anything unless they get something in return for anybody, let alone those guys.
Worst part about cleaning out your locker?
Cleaning out your locker.
Right.
Reality
when
sets
you're
in, and
yeah.
like today, you go to work and it's like, oh, we don't have to go on the ice. Then the media is scrum and having to answer all the questions and usually the same ones over and over in different contexts. But that's part of the gig, and they're definitely disappointed without a doubt, especially the way it ended, being up 3-0 and not be able to bring it back for tonight. But they had a good season. They really did, and it's something to build on.
Kirk McLean, thank you so much for joining us on game days.
Well, let's not stop
days.
here. I'm always available to come in.
You keep coming in. You can come in anytime
Home
you
away
want.
from home.
Who's your team now? Who do you think is the real contender for the Cup?
Well, real contender. Gosh, New York's playing pretty well.
Islanders or Rangers?
Islanders are
both teams play
playing,
well.
but you get the sleepers. Look at Minnesota.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, they're playing good hockey.
But we're picking Canada's team. We're going Calgary.
I'm going Calgary. I say that again because they beat our Canucks, so I'd prefer them to go all the way. Growing up in Toronto, I was not a Montreal fan, so I can't go that side. But at the end of the day, if we do get at least one Canadian team in the finals, we need that. I mean, it's been a while since a Canadian team's won the Cup.
Go Canada, go. I'm going on the Habs side on this. I know you guys are both going for the Flames, but like you said, it was a good regular season, and hopefully the boys will be back in a big way next season. Kirk, thanks so much for coming on.
Pleasure.
See you soon.
Always, yeah.